Hey, all you super mathematicians. How you doing today? Are you ready to talk about ratios? I know I am. All right, so here we go. Today we're going to be talking more about ratios. Remember, we've talked about proportions when we compare a number to the whole number that there are. Remember our example of girls and boys and students all together? And then we have ratios where we were just comparing two things. You can also compare more, but we're going to stick to two. Comparing two or more numbers or quantities of something. So today we're going to look at this example and we're actually going to talk about how do we simplify a ratio. And the good news is it's just like simplifying a fraction. So here we go. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do when we want to look at a ratio, we want to find out the ratio. What I'm trying to find here is what is the ratio of white squares to green squares in this line, okay? The ratio. What is the comparison? How many are there? White, and how many are there? Green, and how do those compare to one another? That's what we're doing when we use ratios. We want to find things out. How many am I going to need of these if I want to continue this line forever for some odd reason? So let's find out. The first thing we need to do is we need to count up the different types of boxes here. So we have the white boxes and we have the green boxes, right? Right. So let's count white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 of them. All right, and let's count up these green ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 of them. Now, if we wanted to write some ratios, let's say I want to write the ratio of white to green. So how many white ones compared to how many green ones? So to do that, I would say there are 8 white to every 4 greens. So every time there are 8 white ones, there are going to be 4 green ones, right? Now if I want to do the opposite here, if I wanted to do the other ratio, I wanted to do green to white, I would write 4 greens to every 8 white boxes. Okay? So what does this mean for us? 8 to 4. That only works with this one. But if I wanted to extend this, and what if I only wanted to extend it a little bit? I didn't want to put on 8 more, or I didn't want to put on 12 more. Okay, I just wanted to add a few more. Well, we could find out the simplified ratio, and that's going to give us the simplest way to add on to our, let's say, line of boxes. Maybe this could be useful if you were trying to figure out how many bricks to use, if you were trying to make a patio in your backyard and you wanted to do a mix of white bricks with red bricks or something like that. Maybe you want to find out some ratios between the amounts of money you have. Those are some of the things you're going to do in your independent work today. So let's talk about how we can simplify this ratio. It's just like fractions. What I'm going to do is write this in the other form. Remember, we can write ratios just like a fraction, right? So we take our 8 and we take our 4. So for every 8 white boxes, there are 4 green boxes. The same ratio, if we divide, remember what we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator, we get an equivalent fraction. Well, it's the same way here with a ratio. What we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator, we get the same, okay, an equivalent ratio. So I'm going to look at the relationship first. I have to think, when I look at an 8, and when I look at a 4, what do I see in common? What do I know? 4 goes into 8. 4 goes into 4. If I were to divide this 8 by 4, and divide this 4 by 4, I would get 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So an equivalent ratio of 8 to 4 is 2 to 1. Now let's go back and remember this 2 is standing for how many white boxes there were. And this 1 is standing for how many green boxes there were, right? Okay, so let's come back over, track it over here. All right, so it's saying for every 2 white ones, there's 1 green one. Let's check this out. Here I see 2 white ones, and then I see a green. And then I see 2 white, and then I see a green. And then I see 2 white, and then I see a green. Then I see 2 white, and then I see a green. So this ratio is exactly the same. 8 to 4 is the same as 2 to 1. So for every 2 white boxes, there is 1 green box. Together, they make a set of 3, okay? Just like for every 8 white boxes, 4 of them are green. This is how ratios work. So let me just show you here in your book. Okay, you're going to be working on ratio and proportion. You're going to be looking at these. Now remember, what you're going to need to do is find out the ratios here and look at what the ratio is. So in number 1, it's telling you ratio is 3 to 2. So for every 3 red boxes, there are 2 yellow boxes. Now continue that ratio on to figure out what color that box will be. Okay, you're going to do that with all of these 2, 3, and 4. Then you're going to find out the proportions in each one of these. Now remember what proportion is? Comparing to the whole. So how many red ones compared to the whole? How many yellow ones compared to the whole? Then on the second part of your work today, you're going to be looking at all of these coins. You've got some different kinds of coins. You're going to, it looks like they're all from Australia here. You're going to be counting them up. What I would do first is I would make a table. And I would make a table of 1 coin, 2s, 5s, 10s, 20s, and 50s. And that would really help me see, okay, how to make these into a ratio. Now, on number 2, I only want you to do A, B, and C. D and E are your bonus questions today. Okay, so if you want to do D and E into your independent work, those are going to be bonus. So if you're one of those kids who is working for, I want exceeds on my report, then you're going to go ahead and finish with D and E. Which should be everybody. You guys all have time to do this. All right? Now, here's the deal. You can ask me questions. Of course, write me an email if this is confusing and you want to get together and meet about this and ask me some questions you don't understand. I'm going to be available to help with this, okay? So all you have to do is ask if it's not making sense. Of course, you know you've got your other teachers. Mom, maybe your brother or sister, Dad. Somebody at your house might also be able to help you. So if you need help, don't forget to ask, and good luck today. Actually, I don't believe in luck. Blessings on you today as you work on proportions and ratios, okay? See you later.